And we alive. What's good, Chacha, man? Saint, welcome to a Saturday edition of I Really Want to Know podcast. What's good, y'all? Hey, man, if you're in Central Florida and probably all of the Northeast and Midwest, it is cold. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's cold. It's like in the 50s down here in Central Florida, but that's very cold for Florida. I was out last night for a little bit, and it got nippy. It got quite nipply out there. You know what I mean? And people in Florida don't understand, especially the women looking for attention, want to, put on next to nothing. They were freezing last night. Of course, I had on an overcoat and long sleeve shirt, tie. I had a sweater on. I had on everything I needed. And I'm like, I could feel it. Like, it's cold. But yeah, and our forecast is for some very, very cold weather headed for Florida down into the 30s with wind chills taking it below freezing. According to the forecast, so the people here in Central Florida aren't ready for what's coming. It's going to be nasty for a little bit. So, hey, man, there's no such thing as the climate changing on planet Earth. That's not a thing, right? That's just fake news. I'm just trying to tell you. But I feel bad for those people in the Northeast. I feel bad for those people in the Midwest, and even out in Texas on the plains and stuff like that. Because the wind chill, I'm telling you, y'all, it's the wind chill. It's not necessarily the cold. I don't mind snow, but I hate when it's freezing. That's when you get the freezing rain and all that kind of stuff, man. Oh, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this Saturday show because this Jeannie, Mai, and Jeezy thing. You guys probably know this already. If you don't, well, the latest, I guess, court maneuver on Jeannie's side is she's asking that the judge does not enforce the prenup for different reasons. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I don't know why people do it. When you get into prenups and all this kind of stuff, bro, like, it's just so much money, time, and expense involved if the marriage doesn't work out. What are we doing, America? We got to go ahead and make this a simple process. If we got no fault divorce, this should be a clean cut divorce. Right. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And for those of y'all out here in the cold areas, man, stay warm. But let's get into this show. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. So yeah, man. So, I know a lot of people aren't going to catch this live because it's Saturday. They're probably out doing whatever they're doing or preparing to watch their favorite sporting events. We got the NFL playoffs going on right now. So it's 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. A lot of basketball. I'm not a huge basketball person. I'll just wait for March, before I start watching any college basketball. And I'm not a real big NBA guy. I might watch the finals depending on who's in there. I don't have a team in the NBA. Cincinnati doesn't have a team. So I'm pretty much a free agent. And there aren't any players out there that I particularly like. Kevin Garnett was the last one. I thought Garnett was a beast, so I was a fan of Boston when he got there. I don't have any other, basketball fans, so I'm not really into NBA right now. So it is what it is. I was gonna make this particular episode a short. I was like, I'm just gonna make a deal short. I almost did it last night when I got home. And I was kind of, pulling up stuff and doing my little research or whatever. And like, you know what, this is going to be longer than an hour or at least an hour. So I'm like, you know what, let me just go ahead and do a regular episode. And I didn't want to wait till Monday. I was like, you know what, I better do this now. So we're going to get into it, bro. We're going to get into it. There's an article out, Us Weekly. That's who's going to cover this sort of thing. And there's the headline right there. Jeannie Mai, as judge not to enforce Jeezy prenup, claims she did not have enough time to review it. Okay. So you're asking the judge to throw out this contract that you agreed to, these stipulations that you agreed to because you didn't have enough time to review it. So why'd you go through with the wedding? That's the first thing pops in my mind. So if I go out and buy myself a car, let me go sign a contract with a bank or lending institution to get a Lamborghini or a Honda or a Bugatti or whatever it is. And then I drive it around for a couple of years and I take it back and say, now let's go to court and say, hey, judge, you should throw this out because I didn't have enough time to review the details of this loan. I just want the car so bad I just signed. You think the judge is going to throw that out? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But we're gonna get into this right here. So this is Us Weekly. This came out yesterday, January 19th. So I read this yesterday and I saw it on TMZ first. First place I saw it was TMZ, and I sent it to Fresh. Just because I was like, hey, let me send this to Fresh. Maybe the Fresh and Fit boys will want to talk about this. And his response was, wow. Jeannie, my, asked a judge to hold off on enforcing her and Jeezy's prenuptial agreement after she claimed she did not have enough time to review it prior to signing. According to the court documents obtained by Us Weekly, my 45 alleged that Jeezy 46 did not begin negotiating their prenup until 5 days before the pair tied the knot in March of 2021. My argued that the time frame raised significant concerns about the adequacy and the thoroughness of the due diligence process and each party's full and fair disclosure of their financial positions. That part right there, who you think wrote that? That don't sound like Jeannie writing. You know what I mean? Who you think wrote that part right there? I give you 3 guesses. Time's up. It was the lawyer. It was the lawyer. Brother Lou is in the building. What's good, fam? How you feeling, man? Happy Saturday. And brother, like, she knew what she was doing. This is a lesson for all men. Get a prenup and make sure to have receipts, making sure she can't make up bogus claims. I mean, it's legal maneuvering is what it is. And at the level that they are, bro, like you're looking at 2 multimillionaires. Why even have this fight? Right? Why even have this fight? And the reason she's having this fight, in my opinion, is because she's bitter. Dude filed for divorce. Dude had enough of her stuff. And he was like, I'm out of here. We're getting divorced. And she got mad. She tried to make, I'm sorry, baby, I'll do better. You don't have to leave me. I'll do better. Dude was like, nope, I'm done. It's over. And now she's mad. You got to deal with the anger. You know, you got to deal with the anger. So, and I'm going to try to, because a lot of times, there we go. You got to make the text bigger. I'm hoping you guys can see it out there. I just made it a little bit smaller so I can read it. It starts to overlap when you squish it down too far. So it continues. Jeannie might ask the judge to hold off on enforcing her and Jeezy's prenup. Okay, I read all that, right? So because she's saying full and fair disclosure of their financial position. So she sat down with the lawyer, and the lawyer probably broke it down to her. This is how much this is how much it costs. This is my rate. This is whatever. She, if you want me to continue, this is how much you're gonna have to pay me. Right? If you want me to continue down this road, you want to do this, you want to contest this, how much it's gonna cost. They did the consultation, probably looked at it, gave it the old once over. It's like, yeah, we might have a little wiggle room here. Do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. Here's your $50,000 or $100,000 retainer, whatever it is. Here's your money. Fine. The lawyers went over it and they're like, hey, how much time did you have prior to signing the prenup? I have 5 days. Okay. What information did you guys discuss? Did you ask him to give you any documentation? I don't remember. Did you see all of his documentation as far as his finances? I don't remember. Okay, so we can there's our way in, right? That's how lawyers work. You're paying them to do what they do, bro. That's how lawyers work. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good, fam? Yo, Mandrell, man. I was I just saw that video from I guess a year ago, maybe longer, about Gray Pill. Done by the 2 girls, like the one woman who was like she was supporting him and all this. It was like the other lady, Bad Batches, I think it was called. You were on there on the panel. Primer was on the panel. Black Man was on the panel. I just saw that, bro. Y'all know I still don't see everything. It takes me a while to dig stuff up, bro. I just saw that. It blew my mind. I was kind of skimming through that. It was 3 hours. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was just skimming through. Wow. That's all I got to say about that, bro. Good to see you, man. My brother Lou, yo, I mean, salute to Manjel. Indeed, my favorite Green Beret. So this is what happens when you got this kind of bread, man. At that level, they're not worried about money, right? It's not about money. Jeezy wants to leave. She didn't want him to leave. He left anyway. He filed for divorce, and now she's mad. She's mad. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna go full on kamikaze, bonsai time. Bonsai. I don't care how much it costs me. I'm gonna write this attorney. I'm gonna pay this attorney. I'm gonna pay that. I'm gonna pay this. I don't care how much it costs me. I'm gonna drag this out. I'm gonna make you feel the pain. I think a lot of that happens when you go through this process. So it is what it is. It continues. The talk show host shared she now has significant reservations about her estranged husband's financial disclosures. My claim that the rapper, whose real name is J. Wayne Jenkins, supplied one personal financial statement that contained approximate values. So it wasn't a problem then when you first read it. There's a problem now because the marriage didn't go the way you wanted it to go because dude wasn't taking whatever you were dishing out. So now it's a problem. Years into this thing, they were a year or so into this thing. Notably absent were the comprehensive supporting financial documents that would provide a transparent and detailed view of Mr. Jenkins' assets, liabilities, and overall financial standings, the docs read. So this is, it's the court documents, and these are the lawyers. The lawyers are going in there, fine tooth comb. Let's find a way. Let's find something. There's got to be something. There's no such thing as an ironclad prenup. There isn't. Let's find something. And they found something. Maya requested that the judge either deny enforcing the prenup or hold off on enforcing it until she and her legal team can properly review the terms and conditions. Wow. This isn't the first time Maya has brought up prenuptial agreement in court. According to docs obtained by us, again, this is Us Weekly, in November of 2023, Maya revealed that part of her contract includes a penalty if any party cheats throughout the course of the marriage. She asked the court to uphold the infidelity part of the agreement and also requested an equitable division of excess assets. So this part right here, I mean, that's something you would be able to work out in mediation. Like, well, look, this didn't work. That's fine. Let's just split up what we made, during the time we were married, just make it equitable. I think it should just be they should take it right down the middle, right? It should be, let's say that while they were married, they made a total of $5 million. Let's make it 6. Let's say by the time they were married, the household makes $6 million, right? We're just making up numbers. Let's say that was the number, $6 million. And it should just be split 3 and 3. You get 3, you get 3. So our assets as a family, we made $6 million, right? Cool. That's 3 and 3. And then our liabilities as a family, we took on, let's say they took on $6 million in debt, right? We took on $6 million in debt, vehicles, promotions, makeup, trips, whatever, $6 million. Cool. Then we owe each other nothing. Right? We both got half of the rewards and we both gonna take on half of the bills. Okay, we're done. No one lost anything but time. Right? That's how it should work, right? I mean, you just split it right down the middle. This is how much you earn. This is how much you spent. You know what I mean? Split that up. Whatever it comes out to. If it's plus 2 million, y'all each get $1 million. If it's minus 2 million, y'all each owe $1 million. And it should be that across the board, from the trailer park all the way up to the penthouse. But when we get into this whole thing, when people always talk to me about marriage, they're like, well, why won't you do it? Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, especially when you look at the marriage rates and it's like, all right, it's a 50% chance that I'm gonna wind up in court. Okay, so get a prenup. Jeezy got a prenup, and here we are in court paying money to attorneys so a judge can either enforce or not enforce the prenup. What are we doing? Meanwhile, we got a child that's almost 1 year old, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to do that. Like, well, that should be a separate thing, which is 50-50 custody. It shouldn't even be a thing. Like, nope, I have the child half the time, you have the child half the time. How are we gonna split that time up? You want to go, 2-3-2, week on, week off. What do you want to do? Like, we could figure this out. Like, what are we gonna do? So this is the problem, and we definitely need to do something about this system because it's obviously broken. The system doesn't work. And I was talking to brother Paid, Players in Demand. He wants to collab and talk about the whole family law reform. And he has a list. And it was like 12 items on his list. And I have them right here. And I definitely want to get the brother on. Yeah, he has 12 items, which I agree with most of it. Some of it, will be taken care of, in the wash or whatever. But definitely want to talk about that one day. You know what I mean? I definitely want to get into that conversation. For those of you out there checking this out, please like and subscribe. You know what I mean? If you pop in just for a second, please hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. It's all good. Appreciate it if you do. And I love seeing the comments. Just kind of keep the comments coming. It's kind of cool. I do my best to get back to every comment. Some of the comments, you have some trolls out there. I don't address trolls. I won't remove it. I just won't address it. If I understand your comment or question, I will definitely answer. And if I don't understand it, I won't say anything. I won't say anything. If I don't understand what you're trying to say, if I just don't get it, because a lot of times when you send a comment, it makes sense in your mind, but when you type it in, it doesn't, it doesn't translate well. So it's like, it makes perfect sense to you, but I'll be looking at it like, I don't know what you mean. And if it's that, I won't ask, hey, what do you mean? I just move on to the next one. But this is one of the reasons why marriage in America in particular doesn't work. And there's always going to be some dudes, women and men going to keep jumping into this thing, but it just doesn't work. There's a prenup. You signed a prenup. I didn't have enough time on the prenup, or you cheated and there's a cheat clause. So give me some time to find out who you cheated with. Let me find some girl I can bribe and say you cheated on me so I can get, out of it or this or that. And at the end of the day, it's just the money that we're talking about isn't needed by one party or the other. The money is the pain. I'm going to make you regret this. That's all it seems to be to me. I could be wrong. Right? But this equitable division, I like that. That should be the thing. We're just going to split everything up. You know what I mean? If it's positive, we split up. We share the gain. If it's negative, we share the bill. It is what it is. Jeezy refuted Mai's claim of him being unfaithful in their marriage. Any claim of infidelity on Mr. Jenkins' behalf were 100% false, and we have no further statement at this time. His rep told Us Weekly in December of 2023. Jeezy filed for divorce in September of 2023, citing his marriage as irrevocably broken, and that he and Mai were already living in a bona fide state of separation before filing. In addition to navigating their prenup, the duo have also fought over custody of their 23-month-old daughter, Monica. Right. So, and that's the sad part. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's the sad part. When you look at stuff like this, who gets hurt? The kids. She's a baby. I guess the only good thing about all this is she's a baby, so this part isn't going to affect her. And she's going to grow up in a world where she has two households, and it is what it is. Both households are more than capable of providing her with the best possible life. So there's that. The thing is, you're going to be giving your child everything. And there's one thing you can't give your child. You can't give your child that home with mom and dad in it. Right? That's the part that sucks. Yeah, that's the part that sucks. And a lot of kids, not a lot of kids, all kids have to deal with that at some point. They got to come to terms with that. You telling your child, I'll give you anything you want. Well, I just want mommy here. I just want daddy here. Well, I can't give you that. Sorry. You want a BMW? Right? You want a Birkin? You want, now you start to try to fill that hole with stuff that they don't want. What do they want? They want to wake up and see mommy and daddy. That's what they want. But it's tougher on the kids who had that. It's really tough for the kids who have mom and dad in the same house and then they leave. That's God, that's got to be hard. But for those kids who grew up and they never had their mom and dad in the same home, it's just that's their reality, and it is what it is. They move accordingly, but it sucks. I mean, it sucks because those kids want that. Like, well, I gotta. All right, this is mommy's week. All right, this is daddy's week. All right, this is and then when they do come together under the same roof or in the same space, you can feel the tension. Like, man, these two grown-ups hate each other. And it's like, and they're here, and then someone sparks something else off, or someone from that group over there, someone from mom's side of the family has drama with someone from dad's side of the family, which is just a surrogate battle. You know what I mean? It's just their champions are going to go at it because mom and dad can't do it. It's horrible. It's horrible, man. That's how it is, bro. That's how it is, man. But, like I said, she's mad. Jeezy filed for divorce, which is crazy. 70 to 80% of the time is women who file for divorce, but men are starting to catch on and they're doing what they got to do. Right. In December of 2023, Jeezy accused Mai of being a gatekeeper to their daughter. While the little one was temporarily residing with her mom, Jeezy claimed that the fluid parenting time schedule was interfering with his time with Monica. So that always becomes a thing. Right. Since that time, the parties have endeavored to address temporary custodial arrangements on an informal basis. The court filing read, while the parties have agreed upon the visitation schedule through the end of 2023, which has been confirmed via communications between their counsel, to continue addressing custodial and parenting time issues in such an ad hoc manner is becoming increasingly less feasible. Who you think wrote that? Right? Who you think wrote that? Did that come from Jeezy? That come from Jeannie? Came from their lawyers. Came from their lawyers. They're probably around between $500 and $1,000 an hour. I mean, if you break that down, I wonder how much money they got paid per word. Right? So it is crazy how that works. So Jeannie Mai was trying to say the dude was unfaithful and try to exercise that clause. That didn't work. So now the thing is, she says she didn't have enough time to review the prenup because it was only 5 days before they actually got married. And she wants the judge to hold off enforcing it or not enforce it at all. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is so crazy. So Us Weekly has the document. So I guess they have the court filing, and she alleged that they did not begin negotiating their prenup until 5 days before the pair tied the knot. Now, here's the thing. If you have a guy who's getting married, we got a couple who's getting married, right? One party says that, well, we didn't begin to negotiate until 5 days before the marriage, but we've been planning this wedding and this and that. It makes me wonder, well, what's the real story behind that? Because I'm pretty sure the dude's like, yeah, let's get married. Let's talk about this prenup. Let's talk about this. Oh, we got time. We can talk about that later. What color do you want our dresses to be and your tuxedo to be in? Where in the world are we going to have this ceremony, and what type of cake, and how many people we're going to invite, and what the invitation is going to look like? So you get started doing that, like, all right, cool, but we need to talk about this prenup. Yeah, we're going to get to it. We're going to pull up in a Bentley, or we're going to pull up in a Bugatti, or maybe we could pull up in a helicopter. I mean, that's all cool, right? Because we got tons of money. We've done well. But when are we going to talk about this prenup? And then here you are 5 days out. Maybe someone put their foot down like, look, we're not doing anything else until we talk about this prenup. Okay, let me see the prenup. Okay, that works. I'm cool with that. Bam. And now that it didn't work, you didn't give me enough time. I just don't understand how grown-ups can go into a court of law and stand there paying other grown-ups to argue that I want to get out of this agreement that I signed. I said I was cool with this. If you had a problem with not getting your due diligence and having enough time to go over financial disclosures, then why did you get married? And I guess the opposite, I guess the argument to that is, well, we did all this planning and all this money was paid and deposits and this and that. All right, fine. You know, and in their case, they had to deal with the pandemic. So whatever they was planning got nixed, and they had, I think they wound up basically kind of eloping, going to a foreign country, doing it that way. All right, fine. So if in fact, if that's what you did, if you basically just went somewhere else, kind of eloped, then you certainly, there was no time issues. No one else was coming. No one else was coming. So you just could have put it off. Like, all right, I need another month to review this thing. I'm looking at this document. I don't quite understand. I got to send this to my attorney. I need a month. All right, fine. We can elope a month from now. We don't have to do it now. They already been together. I think they were already pregnant. You know what I mean? I could be wrong on that. You're already together. What's another 30 days? So I don't know, man. If I had to guess as to how it went down, I would say that she was in a hurry to tie the knot. And I'm not saying that men don't get into a hurry to do it. There are a lot of guys out there who get wrapped up in that because that's what they want. They want the big wedding, just like the women. I know guys who were trying to have a big wedding, and the woman was like, "Nah, I don't want it. Let's just go to Vegas. Let's just go to the courthouse. This whatever." Like, matter of fact, I know some women who were like, we ain't even got to get legally married. Not that they were red pill women, but they just didn't want to go through the hassle. I know women who were like, I don't want to change my last name because it's a legal hassle. Right. So there was a lot of that going on. I just thought it was crazy. I think TMZ also had something. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, TMZ had something on this, which was the first I saw of it. Let me pull that up because it was real quick. Take me a second to find it. Now everyone's reporting on it. People have something. Here's TMZ a day ago. People was about 21 hours ago. Entertainment Tonight's talking about it. Yahoo is talking about it. Jeannie Ma demands to see Jeezy's financials amid nasty divorce. So yeah, everyone's talking about, but that's the TMZ one. I thought was crazy. The fact that it looks like TMZ every day becomes more and more mainstream news, right? That's where people get their stuff from. I thought that was crazy. So let's check this out. So again, this is TMZ. Jeannie Ma, please don't enforce prenup. I didn't have enough time. Right. So Jeannie Ma's requesting the court to hold off on enforcing her prenup with Jeezy, saying she didn't have enough time to review it before signing. Which, you know, it is what the talk show host filed a request Thursday afternoon in Fulton County Superior Court asking the judge to either deny Jeezy's motion to enforce the prenuptial agreement or at least hold off on enforcing it until the parties can exchange info about it. So it's pretty much the same information. In the docs obtained by TMZ, JM says, that's Jeannie Mai, the prenup process was so quick. They started negotiating just 5 days before she walked down the aisle. She didn't think she was able to do her proper due diligence on the agreement. So why did you sign it? If that's the case, why did you sign it, love? Why did you sign it? She didn't think she was able to do her proper due diligence on the agreement. But I wanted to be married so bad, so I just signed it anyway. So, Your Honor, please don't enforce it. Man, that basically, she said she didn't go through Jeezy's financial disclosures with a fine-tooth comb to make sure she was getting a fair deal. saying the truncated window raises significant concerns about the adequacy and thoroughness of the due diligence process. You signed it, love. You signed it. I mean, you signed it. She's also kind of calling out Jeezy here, saying she has significant reservations about her ex's financial disclosures. Her legal team says the rapper only handed over a personal financial statement with approximate taxes and insists she was legally entitled to a thorough examination of all documents. Or what? She wasn't going to get married? I don't understand this part. You didn't give me enough time to go over your financials. I don't think you're worth as much money as you say you're worth. Is that the argument? Or you're worth way more? You're worth way more than you were letting on. Either way, would that have kept her from signing a document? 5 days? 5 days wasn't enough. Why didn't she just postpone it then? Well, let me get into this because this is important, right? This is important stuff. And most people get married without signing anything. They just go and they just get married. No, like Andrew Schultz got married, didn't sign nothing. Right. I think he got married in New York. You know what I mean? So wherever he got married, it's like, bro, Andrew Schultz was doing well. His wife is good. You know what I mean? Like she put in 7 years. She good. She getting at least half that empire he built. Just to give you an example. So I really wonder what devil is in the details, but I don't think it has anything really to do with the prenup or the money. She just wants to bring the pain. Like I said, women get to a point, man, sometimes they crash out, man. Banzai, bro. Banzai. That's it, bro. They're on a one-way mission. I am going to blow everything up, including myself, because I am that hurt right now. And I'm going to waste all this money. Your money, my money, everybody's money. Banzai. You gotta be careful. Dudes crash out too, but they do it a different way, man. They wind up in prison. So she's saying she didn't have enough money to properly go through his financial statement or statements, whatever he sent. TMZ continues. We previously reported Jeezy filed for divorce from Jeannie back in September, saying the marriage is irrevocably broken. Jeezy seemingly implied that he thinks Jeannie cheated on him in his music, but she came out and denied any suspected infidelity. And there's something about Mario Lopez and what she was doing. She's making those comments, white meat, black meat, brown meat, whatever she was saying. So when she was still on the TV show. And this is, this is what led to dude going to the courthouse. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. In fact, Jeannie took it a step further, outright suggesting he might have been the one who possibly cheated, claiming he paid through the nose for it if the prenup, per the prenup, if that did in fact turn out to be true. So he in his music talking about, yeah, she was cheating or whatever. Then she turns around and says, I wasn't cheating. As a matter of fact, he was cheating. And if I could prove it, he's going to pay through the nose because of the prenup. So if he's cheating, you want to uphold the prenup. There's nothing wrong with the prenup. But because you can't catch him cheating, you want to go back and say, no, Your Honor, don't uphold his prenup because I don't have enough time to go over his financials. Who makes out in this process? Right? Who makes out in this process? The lawyers. You got 2 teams of lawyers who getting paid a ton of money. Ton of money. Back in the day, it used to be the lawyers were doing criminal law because that's what paid, and they was doing mergers and acquisitions and different types of business law. Not anymore. It's all about that family law. I'm telling you. Family law, we definitely need some reforms. Some definite reforms. Like, we're gonna do this show with Brother Page. And I mean, he has some really good, like his 12 points of family law reform. He has some really good points. Really good points. Because this stuff should not be in a quote unquote court of law. It shouldn't be a court of law. I mean, because and it I've talked about this before. It takes away from our legal system. People go into family court, they outright lie. They outright, I mean, and that's in Brother Page number 8, his number 8 point perjury statute enforced. People go into family court and outright lie. When I say lie, I'm talking about lies that you can absolutely prove. Like stuff in writing, like, no, they lied about this. They violate court orders and don't care. And the court doesn't seem to care. The court only seems to care which person violated the order. Oh, you did it, mister? Yeah. Now you're looking at a contempt charge. Yeah, we're trying to throw you in jail for this. What? Oh, she did it? It depends on the judge. And it could be the other way around. It could be a judge who was like, you did it, sir. That's fine. You didn't really lie. But she lied. Let's go lock her up. It should be remove that. Remove that. But it's so entrenched these days that I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Because it's so much money. Like, how much money are judges being paid? That's something I should have looked up. What's the average salary of a family court judge? I bet you it was 6 figures plus. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, that has a lot of political power attached to it as well. It's crazy. Sister Candace in the building. What's good, sis? Good to see you. Hey, how cold is it out there where you at, girl? I think you in Texas somewhere. How cold is it out there? Excuse me. How cold is it out there? Because it's cold here in Central Florida. It's even starting to get cold down in Miami. So this front is like really hitting the world hard. But this is why people need to think about getting married, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's the point of signing a contract that could do this kind of damage to you if it doesn't work? What's the point of doing that? It doesn't make any sense. What's the point of signing a prenup or even developing a prenup? Like, Jeezy had to pay someone, a lawyer, to make that prenup for him, to draw it all up. It costs a bunch of money. And now he's in court spending a bunch of money to defend that same prenup. And the other side is like, oh, well, let's say he cheated. Can we prove he cheated? No. All right. Well, he didn't give us enough time to review it. You only had 5 days. And he didn't give a lot of documentation. He only gave you this form right here. I mean, no fault divorce should be simple. If you file a no fault divorce, then they should just tally up how much y'all made as a family and how much y'all spent, or how much, what kind of debt y'all racked up as a family. Right? Figure that out. It's like, okay, you had a net gain of X and split that, or you had a net loss of X and you split that. It shouldn't fall on one party or the other to pay for everything. It shouldn't be no alimony. Child support should be 50-50 custody. If it's 50-50 custody, there's no need for child support. You support the child when you have the child. They'll support the child when they have the child. Done. You say, well, one person makes so much more money than that child needs to keep that same lifestyle in both homes. I think that's a bullshit argument, but okay. Okay. And that could be addressed, but it shouldn't be this insane system that we have now where one party is paying a ton of money because they don't have the child. Right? Because they'll say that. They're like, well, this person over here, this party, this parent, don't make a lot of money, so they can't afford a nice home in a nice neighborhood and a nice school. So we're going to take all the money from the other party, give it to this person so they can go do these things. And then we're not even going to force them or regulate how they spend the money. We're not going to do it. We're just going to give them the money. You know what I mean? And there it is. And I think that's absolute BS. That's absolute BS. You're going to say, well, let's say their mom doesn't make a lot of money and they live in a middle class life, and dad, he's done well and he's living above, upper middle class life, right? And you're saying, well, dad has to pay mom all his money because she can't afford the same lifestyle that dad can. So how come we're not giving the child to the parent who can afford that lifestyle? and give that other parent time to earn more money. How come we're not doing that? Right? I mean, people don't like having these conversations, but it doesn't make sense to get yourself tied up into all this. Again, when you're young and you don't have nothing and you want to get married, fine. You ain't got nothing. But if you plan on having something, you better make sure you pick the right one. In Virginia, in the 30s. I don't know why I thought you were in Texas, girl. 30s. Woo, yeah, you getting the same. It's supposed to get down into the 30s, like the high 30s here in Central Florida. So I know y'all getting it up there. So the Candace like, yeah, Jeannie Meyer is the modern day independent woman. She shouldn't need Jeezy's money for anything. Facts. Facts. I think there should be a cap. I think there should be a cap. In other words, if as an individual, if you make more than the average American household, you shouldn't be entitled to any form of child support. Now, a lot of people might not agree with that, but you shouldn't like, okay, let's say you make $100,000 a year, right? Actually, because what's the average American, let's see, in 2022, the median household income in the United States was around 74 and a half, or $74,580. I got it on this board over here. That's all of America, right? So the household was making $74,580. So let's say that you're an individual making $80,000 a year, right? You're making 80 grand. You're not eligible for child support. You don't need it. Now, what I mean by that is the other parent should be helping out with medical expenses and education and stuff like that. But I also believe it should be like Florida, where it's 50-50. It's 50-50 custody. And like, why are we doing money on top of that? Right. So there's a lot of room for reform. But if you're making $80,000 a year, why should you get paid anything else? You're making more than the average American family. Right. You're independent. You chose to have the child. That's another thing too. Only women get to choose. Men don't get to choose. So men should at least get some sort of say in the matter. Like, bro, do you want to be financially responsible? Are you ready to be a father? And if the answer is no, okay, mom, you're on your own. Right. And the only reason I say that is because a woman can have a child. She can have the baby. And then, like a month or so later, decide, you know what, this isn't for me. Give the baby up for the adoption. She's no longer financially responsible for that child. But the guy is responsible no matter what. So some laws need to be changed here. It's like, all right, well, you're gonna have a baby, you get a baby up for the adoption, you should have to pay child support. Something, you know what I mean? Like, we have to look at this thing and try to figure this system out. I think the system should do everything in its power to keep both parents in the picture. That's what Florida is doing. Florida says it's in the child's best interest to have equal access to both parents. If you got two parents who are willing, then that should be the set default, 50-50. Boom. There's no need for child support. It's 50-50. It's 50-50. You both got to take care of child care. You both got to take care of medical, right? And then it's not as easy as I'm making it sound. I understand that. There's always going to be different scenarios out there. I get that. I understand that. But for the most part, it should be 50-50. It should be 50-50. When you get to the situation where mom and dad both, are poor and they don't have the money to afford the child, okay, they're going to have to, take money from the state. Okay, it is what it is. And a lot of this stems around the state trying to get money back. So there's that issue that needs to be addressed. But the way we do it now just doesn't make any sense. Sister Candace, if your lifestyle is solely dependent on child support payments, perhaps you shouldn't be the custodial parent. That's what I'm talking about right there, sis. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And a lot of times when you get to the people, like again, when you get to middle class Americans and people who are above the poverty line and people who are doing well, those folks who are making the average income in America, which is around 65,000 a year, you got just you got a person who has a career, they have medical and all this other kind of stuff, right? When you're talking about those people, 50-50 split. 50-50 split. The vast majority of the time, the child is in daycare anyway. Anyway, which is a ton of money. So the child's in daycare anyway. So mom is working, dad is working. So it should be a natural split from the beginning. Just because we're talking about who's going to take the child to daycare and pick the child up. That's it. So you can go day on, day off. You can go 2-3-2, 3-2-3, whatever. You can whatever you want to do. Week on, week off, however you want to do it. The child is in daycare. So both parents are paying for daycare. 50-50 split. No, what are we talking about with child support? That's my take on it anyway. Something has to happen. I do believe that there's going to be a change. I do believe that people are women are making more money. I was looking at the quote unquote uh the income gap and the wage gap, and basically I saw a study, and this was from, let me look it up again, but this was from the Bureau of Statistics, I think it was labor statistics. I got to find it now, but they were saying that men per week basically earn like $190 more per week than women do. Let me look this up again. I wasn't going to talk about it, so I erased it, and I shouldn't have. Um, how much is median income for women in America? I looked that up, and Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? .gov. This is where this came from. Median weekly earnings were $996 for women, $1,186 for men in first quarter of 2023. Right. So that's $190 difference per week, right? That's, so, there's still a gap. It's about $190 a week. Round it up to $200 a week, $800 a month. There's a gap. There's a gap according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Can't talk this afternoon. There's a gap. And we're not going to get into the reasons for the pay gap and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. But women are starting to make more money. You got women out here who are killing the game, and like that one young girl. What's the name of the young girl? The Meet Me Outside girl who did OF once she became 18 and made like $50 million. Like little shorty, I forget her name. Bad Baby, I think it is Bad Baby. $50 million. And now I think it's reported that she's in a relationship. I don't know if she's married or not, but she's pregnant. In that situation, if I was dude, I would absolutely marry Bad Baby. She's worth 50 million. She's, let's say she spent 10 of that. Let's say she's worth 40 million, 30 million. I would absolutely marry Shorty. And if it doesn't work out, man, I'm golden. I'm walking away with half. Because if she finds herself in family court, she's gonna have to pay dude. Now, I'm not saying that that's why he's with her. You know what I mean? And I don't know who the guy is. I was watching Patrick CC. I think they were saying that he's like an average guy. But if you're a dude, you got to start thinking about that. If you want to get married to a woman, marry a woman who makes more than you do, whose net earnings or net worth is more than yours. Marry a woman who wants you to sign a prenup. At least you're not worried about her leaving you. because there's no benefit for her to do so in that situation. Like, so, and like sister said, man, you got these independent women out here. They're independent, whatever, but like she doesn't need the money for anything, but she just wants to hurt him. She's using the court system to hurt this dude. Like I said, man, banzai. She's going full on kamikaze mission. Man, I'm gonna blow everything up because I'm mad at you. How dare you divorce me? It's like, sorry, shorty, this ain't working. This ain't working at all, Sister Candace. If women are concerned about the wage gap, they should join the military. Facts. Facts. Uncle Sam wants you. He's gonna pay you. He's gonna pay you equally. He's even gonna let you go to airborne school so you can get that jump pay. You're gonna be making more than the average soldier. Well, I mean, it's tough out here. And you know, it's the reason I think marriage is so convoluted, and the reason we have these issues is because it's so one-sided when it comes to divorce, as you know, the way the laws are interpreted today. You know, when it comes to child custody and support, it's so one-sided. That playing field needs to be leveled. Where are the feminists? Where are the people who are out there looking for rights and justice? Because it's not right. It's absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. You know, is it going to change eventually? Yeah, it'll change, but it's going to take time. The way we do it, we keep hearing these stories, and then yeah, for every story like this, you know, there might be, you know, one or two stories of successful relationships. Great. Great. I like that. But if it doesn't work, and 50% of the time it ends in divorce, you know, how can we change that number? Well, take the incentive away. There's an incentive to get divorced. The person who has less in the relationship, if they get divorced, they're going to get compensated for that. They're going to get a house. They're going to get some money. Right? There's children involved. They're going to get, you know, custody of children, which means they're going to get more money. We just got to look at this differently. We got to take it out of a court of law. I mean, there's so much money behind this, man. Take all the money out. Look at these attorneys, man, just killing the game. I ain't mad at them. They're making tons of money. People go to attorneys. Like, you got to have an attorney to go into this system. Right? I mean, one of the other points your brother Pay made was, if one party can't afford an attorney, then both parties should have to represent themselves. And I thought that was a good point that he made. And it's right here's his ninth point. A policy where if one party cannot afford an attorney, both parties have to be pro per, which means they have to represent themselves. But I believe they should just scrap the whole system. It shouldn't be court. It should be something different. It should just be mediation. It should be binding mediation. The thing is, you know, you got to pay these referees or whatever to do it. There's still going to be money involved. I think it should be bean counters. I think people should just come in there, look at finances or whatever, and it's just that. It should be a 50-50 split. They look at finances. Okay, the child's needs are met. Done. Brother Penny's in the building. What's good, man? Yeah, a rare Saturday show. A rare Saturday show, man. I was talking about Jeannie Mai, man. Jeannie Mai. Jeannie Mai asked the judge not to enforce the prenup that she signed because she claimed she didn't have enough time to review it. Right. So she said the prenup process was so quick. They started negotiating just 5 days before they walked down the aisle. She signed it, but she said she didn't think she had enough time to do her proper due diligence on the agreement. So she's asking the judge to set aside the prenup. Crazy. So yeah, man, we were talking about that, and we were just talking about the whole family law system in America. It needs to change. We definitely need some reform. That's something that, you know, you can get both sides of the aisle. You know, that's a nonpartisan issue right there. But we got to get out here and make noise. We got to get out here and make that happen. People get so mad when we talk about this sort of thing, man. They just get so mad. But it's like, why do it? Well, you're marrying the wrong one. Okay. Like, okay. Like when I talked to my man Jay Swans about it, his standpoint, and I get where he's coming from. He's like, well, look, you made the decision as a man. If it doesn't work, you have to take, just take it like a man. If it doesn't work, you know, it is what it is. And I get where he's coming from. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me wholeheartedly, 100%. And to that, I say, hey, man, don't get married. Why? Why even get married? What's the benefit? Under these rules, what's the benefit? So I'm like, if you're going to do it, as marry someone who has more than you. Now it boils down to you because you're not just after their stuff. So you can, as a man, I can marry a woman who's worth $50 million. It doesn't work 7 years down the line. I can divorce her. I don't want anything. I'm not taking anything. You good, love? Because I did love you. I still do. I just didn't work. Right. I was hoping that we will be able to grow together. It didn't happen. I'm out of here. I'm not worried about losing anything. And whoever I marry, she shouldn't have to worry about losing anything because I'm not trying to take it. But that's just me. The next man, like, nope, I want what's due to me. I won't have. I want this house. I want that car. Right. I want your Birkin collection. And you can get all that. Like, I want half of your Birkin collection. Because you bought all those bags while we were together. That could be an investment up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, man. A cheap Birkin bag is like 30 grand, bro. And if she's worth money like that, she might have a couple bags. They're a couple $100,000 each. You know what I mean? She might have a couple bags that's $100,000 each. So it's just one of those things. It's like, it's who you're marrying and what they're up to, what type of person they are, who their friends are, and what they're being advised on how to move. And I agree with you, Sister Candace. She wanted the wedding and not the marriage. Absolutely. That's exactly what she wanted. And she got it. She didn't care about the prenup, did she? Until it didn't work, until she couldn't keep him. I'm going to make you stay. No, you're not. I'm out of here. And then, she's reading the prenup and her lawyers were like, yeah, you signed this. Well, there's got to be a way out. Here's more money. Figure out a way out. Well, we can try this and this, but it's probably not going to hold up, but let's give it a shot. And it all boils down to the judge. If this judge rules to set aside the prenup, dangerous precedent. Dangerous precedent. Now dudes are like, well, how much time I got to give her to read this prenup? Well, she has to have a minimum of X amount of time. Like, well, does that affect every contract in America moving forward? Well, how much time I got to have to sign this contract to buy a car or buy a house? Or my subscription on StreamYard? Can I go back and say StreamYard owes me all the money I paid them because they didn't give me enough time to read, right, to read the terms and conditions? I really don't think this is going to be successful. I don't, but if it is, you want to talk about opening the can of worms, Brother Pitney. Now that the world is watching, if the prenup gets thrown out, men will point to this as a concrete example of why marriage is a bad idea, regardless of the circumstances. Facts. And everyone is watching this. I say it's a bad idea regardless right now. It's just how much money is being spent. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars will have been spent to these attorneys by the end of this process. They got the money. They got, they're going to have top tier attorneys. That's a lot of money being spent. Again, I ain't mad at the lawyers. It's the system that needs to change. It's the system, y'all. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. Why get married? Just, I wouldn't cohabitate, just being involved in each other's lives. You know what I mean? Be a part of each other's universe. or solar system or something like that, man. But don't get married. I wouldn't do it. And he married a woman who was already married. Like she got divorced from her other husband. So a lot of that's on Jeezy anyway. He tried to protect himself, but why? Why? You look at Russell Wilson, same thing. Why? What are you doing? But that's the emotional part of it. Like I tell dudes all the time, man, keep your emotions in check. Try, do the best of your ability. Keep your emotions in check. Are there good women out there? Are there women out there worth marrying? Yes. Even under these conditions, there are women out there who are worth marrying. Yes, there are. They're hard to find. And the older you get, the less of them are out there, right? Because they're gonna get married quick. Dudes are gonna snatch them up. You're gonna snatch them up. You look at someone like me in my 50s. Nah, man, no way in hell. Why would I do something like that? That's dumb. Getting married is dumb. Like you can get involved with someone, they have their place, you have your place, y'all take trips together and do all this kind of stuff. But to get married, someone was talking about, it might have been Fresh. Someone was talking about a couple that were married, and the guy had his house and the wife had her house. They lived on the same block, but they lived in different houses. And they were married. And they would come together. It was like they were dating or whatever, but they were married. They would spend time. They would go back to their own spaces, or they would hang out. I'm going to stay over there tonight, or she could stay over here tonight, but she's going to go home eventually, like the next day or whatever. They come see each other. I mean, maybe that works for them. You know what I mean? It's just, and they're legally married. It's just so crazy, man. Sister Candace, if people are no longer getting married for religious purposes and to have children in wedlock, why are they getting married at all? And if the marriage is for tax purposes, then you definitely should not be getting married. It's a good point, sis. It's a good point. I believe in marriage. I think that marriage is necessary. I think marriage is the foundation of our society. The nuclear family works for raising a family, but we don't have that anymore. And I honestly believe the reason we don't is it's so easy to get divorced, and it's so easy to be rewarded for that divorce. And it's just too easy. I've said this before on this platform. I said this on Suzette Speaks and some other platforms. I'm like, bro, it should either be harder to get married in the first place or harder to get divorced. But the way we're doing it now is just, it simply isn't working. And again, who gets hurt? It's the kids, man. The kids, that's who get devastated. They don't even have a say in this. It's the kids. It just sucks. Their reality being in two separate homes, it just sucks. You know, I don't have the answer. Well, people don't like my answers, but as a society, we got to come together. We got to do something about this. The people involved in the family law system, they're not going to want to change it. They're making too much money. They're making too much money. The judges are getting way too much out of it. They get money and status, and it helps them to move along in their careers. The attorneys, they're getting paid. When you have like the top attorneys in the country, the top firms in the country has divisions just to handle family law. That's how much money is in this. I mean, it's so many hearings that go back and forth and phone calls and this and that. So much money, that stuff, that tallies up so fast. So fast. You'll run through $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 before you know it. And still be in the same place you were in day one. And once all the money is done, all the money is gone, everything gets settled. Oh, let's go do a quick mediation. Okay, it's done. You wind up right where you started. You lost all the money to the attorneys. And again, it's not the attorney's fault. That's just how the game is played. If you have one adult who's out here willing to just bonsai the whole thing, just blow everything up, including themselves, then you're gonna wind up paying. You're gonna wind up paying. I know a guy who was dealing with a woman who went through the court system. And just, I mean, she had a game plan. Someone must have been coaching this woman up. She had a game plan. And the legal fees for both sides, for her lawyer and his lawyer, the legal fees were about 30 grand, 40 grand, something like that. And the guy had to pay all that. The judge ordered that the guy pay for all that, even though the reason they're in court is because of that woman. She filed this stuff. Everything that was going on, all the negative stuff was coming from that side. But he had to pay all that money. It's just ridiculous. Like, what are we doing here? And everyone knows that's what goes on, but no one wants to change it. And again, Brother Pay, that's point 10 of his 12-point reform list. In the ability to assign attorney fees as a sanction. And they do that. And I wonder what the gender breakdown is on that. When they assign attorney fees, I wonder what the gender breakdown is. Like, what percentage of the time are men paying the attorney fees as a sanction, like for both attorneys versus women? I wonder. And they put down a list you can ask for attorney fees. Why? Like, we are here. People make these filings like we are here because of one person or the other, right? Someone had to come and make the initial filing. That's the petitioner. They come in, we're here because of this person. And then you get into the situation like most people, it used to be that most people just worked it out. Like, all right, I'll pick, I'll have the child on these days and we'll split these holidays and we'll do this, we'll do that. But then you have those people who run the court and they do everything in their ability to use the court to punish the other person. Men and women, but it is what it is. Men and women, they go in there, use it. And the court is a very willing weapon. Go ahead and use it as a weapon. And it just, the system doesn't work. And again, it's who pays? Who suffers the most? The kids. The kids. We have a system where we monetize children in this country. We monetize children. So if I'm just trying to get money out of the situation, either because I'm greedy or I just want to hurt somebody, I have to keep the children away from the other parent in order for me to get the money. And then that goes into people lying about stuff and making false accusations and this and that, violence and all this other kind of stuff. Law enforcement gets involved. It's a horrific situation. Horrific. Sister Candace, too easy to get pregnant as well. Baby mama is a career out here. Hey. Hey. My take on that. I mean, men should have a say. I mean, if women decide they want to have a baby, that's great. I ain't mad at you, but that guy should also get a decision. People get mad at me when we talk about this. It's my body, it's my choice. Great. That's fine. But it's his wallet, it's his choice. He should not be forced to be financially responsible to raise a child if he doesn't want to be. Just like you don't have to raise a child if you don't want to. And I'm not even talking about the ultimate option. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about once the child gets here. There's a story out there. You can find it with an easy Google search. Guy was in a relationship with a woman. She had a baby, then she left the state. And she's having all kind of issues, financial issues, I think addiction issues and all kind of stuff. This man is following it, trying to track this woman down, trying to track her down. She decided to give her child up for adoption. The guy finally catches up with his child right before the final adoption goes through. And he had to go to court to fight to get his child. Right? Turns out the guy was a black man. The court was basically saying, well, this child would be better off with this family over here. This dude was like, what are you talking about? Make way more than him. This dude was a black man. He was an engineer. He's extremely wealthy. It cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars to track his child down. And luckily he got to the child before the legal process was done with this adoption. And the court was like, well, the child's been there. It's an infant. Infant, slant, newborn. Like, what are you talking about? The child's been there. The child doesn't know where it is. That's my baby. That should be illegal. They tried to take his child from him. The United States allowed the court to kidnap his child. He won. He was able to get his child back. Just imagine the amount of money he spent. What if he didn't have those resources? How is that possible? He had to fight to get his child, but you don't want to give men a choice? It's crazy. He should have had that choice day one. As soon as the baby was born, boom, he signs on there. I'm dad. So she decides she doesn't want to be involved. Fine, he gets his baby. All this other stuff, all these other people done got hurt. Oh, we really wanted this baby. Hey, man, I'm sorry. You got caught up in this, but let's fix this issue. That's his child. Now, if he wanted to sign a waiver and say, I don't want to be involved. I'm just a sperm donor at this point. Sign that form. Great. He shouldn't be held financially responsible. There's a story of a minor who was taken advantage of by his female teacher, which is illegal, right? That's the E part, that's the grape, right? Statutory. She has his baby. She was locked up for the crimes that she committed. When she got out with her baby, she hit the child up, who's now 18, for child support. Could you imagine if the genders were reversed? Like, could you imagine you forcing some young girl to deal with this for the rest of her life, which some states want to do? Like I said, man, I'm pro-choice 100%, but I think that choice needs to be extended to men as well, not just women. Of course, she holds the final say. If she decides she doesn't want to have a child, then that's it. You know what I mean? She gets the final say. But if she does have the child, that guy gets a say. You know what? I'm going to exercise my option. I'm not ready for this. Bam, I'm gone. No financial support. None. Don't look me up. Don't try to follow me on Facebook. Don't try to harass my family. I'm just a sperm donor. That's yours now. That's your responsibility. A lot of people think you can't do that. That's wrong. I don't see it. I don't know how it's wrong. If I think it's wrong to give one gender a choice and the other doesn't get a choice. It takes two to tango. Both people should get a choice. They should get a choice. And if the thing is we're not going to give anyone a choice, then fine. I'm cool with that too. And take the choice away for her as well. Well, they both slept together. They sure did. They sure did. Well, he didn't wear a condom. Well, she didn't take any of the 10, 20, 30 forms of birth controllers out there. Whatever. We ain't even talking about that. They did what they did. It resulted in this, which is a baby. And if she chooses to have that baby, fine. He gets a choice if he's going to financially support that child. And if he's in, then it's 50-50. They don't have to be married for that. It's 50-50 default. 50-50 default. You got states like Tennessee, I think it's Tennessee and Kentucky, are trying to make it a law that paternity tests are mandatory, and people are actually fighting that. Why? Because paternity fraud is a real thing. You got guys out here paying for children not even theirs, and they know it. I mean, it's crazy. Right? It's this whole thing we got going on right now. And all the while, women are like, we're equal. Okay, well, you should join this fight on our side. If women are equal and, you're independent, you should be on our side over here trying to get these things changed. Well, I don't want to do that. And I ain't mad at you. Why? If the system benefits you, why would you want to change the system? You know what I mean? It's just what it is. It's just, Candace, interesting how there is a penalty for terminating a pregnancy, yet no penalty for dropping an infant off at the fire station shortly after birth. Yeah. Yeah. I get that. People don't want to take a life. All right, fine. I get that. But That child to get dropped off at the fire department, they'll figure out who the father is and make him pay some form of child support to the state. Meanwhile, she doesn't have to pay anything. Come on now. Come on now. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So as men, and again, this is why the RP world, the manosphere, they take so much heat. Why is it they don't want these guys, men like me and men like Rich Cooper, Rolo Tomasi, what I mean? These type guys, why don't they want us to speak about this? Because technology is such that the word can get out now. It can't be stopped. It can't be controlled. The word is getting out there. They can restrict this channel as much as they want. People are still hearing it. You can restrict Fresh and Fit as much as you want. People are still hearing it. Right? Look at mainstream media. Mainstream media is talking about manosphere talking points all the time now. Why? Because people are watching. People are watching. You're getting millions and millions of views, billions of views in the manosphere. And mainstream media is sitting there looking at that like, oh, we need to get some of that interaction. So they're going to start talking about this sort of thing. This whole red pill thing, like, I saw a thing on The Hill last week, and they were talking about this movement of conservative traditional women, and like this movement to not be boss babes anymore and to become a trad-con woman and stay at home. And I'm gonna talk about that next week because I thought it was fascinating. I'm like, how is this? Rising is, I think is definitely YouTube and cable. I think it's like cable, but it's still considered mainstream media. The Rising, The Hill is considered mainstream media. So you got this rise, and why is that? Because women are like, man, it's hard out here. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I'd rather work from home and be home with my kids. I want to stay home and watch my child take his first steps. We talked about that earlier in this stream. The child is at daycare. Mom is at work. Dad is at work. The child is being raised by strangers in daycare. And as soon as the child gets used to this group of strangers, you move daycare because you get a better deal somewhere else. And now you got another group of strangers taking care of your child. And the child is around all these other kids and getting all kind of sick, getting all kind of rashes, getting pink eye, getting all sorts of stuff because they've been raised in like a little baby factory. So even if you have the money to get a nanny or au pair, depending on how much money you have, still that's someone else raising your child. You're not doing it. You're at work. You're taking the meetings. You're taking the trips. You're doing all this stuff. You're making the money. That's what men have done historically, and women were home with the child. Now, if you can take a pay cut and work from home and raise your kids, who wouldn't want to do that? You know what I mean? I would love to do that. But men historically, like when you get into gender roles, that's a blue hat. The blue job, like what Rich Cooper says, there are pink jobs and blue jobs. Pink job being stay at home, keep the house right, keep the children safe, keep the house clean and all that. That's the pink job. A blue job is to go out here and bust your butt and work and get all the overtime you can and make as much money as you can to keep your family fed and housed and putting money away for the future, right? That's the blue job. Women are doing blue jobs and they don't seem to like it. I ain't mad at them. You want to get out here and work. But someone else is going to be raising your child. That's just where we are. That's where we are. So, yeah, I guess I'm done ranting. I definitely want to talk about family law reforms. I'm gonna take a week and talk about family law reforms. Maybe not starting Monday, but maybe the first week in February. Talk about family law reforms because we need to do that. We definitely need to do that. It doesn't make any sense the way it's working now. And again, it benefits women. So I understand why a lot of women don't want to change it. Even the women who see that it's wrong, because there are women out there like Sister Candace who have a great relationship. They're married. They love their husband loves them. They're doing their thing. It's great. She can see that it's messed up, right? But it doesn't affect her because she has a great situation. There are women out there who have benefited from this current family law situation. So they ain't going to say nothing. Right? They're just going to sit back and count their money. They don't want that to stop. When Florida ended the forever alimony, man, women lost their mind because there was women who were getting that forever alimony. Like, nope, we're stopping that. Well, how am I going to live now? Get a job. There are people who got married that were married and some other grown-up was paying them to not work, just paying them, just taking care of them. Yeah, that had to stop. That had to stop. You know, now there are arguments for those people who were old enough to have come from the old days when they couldn't work. Right? There are women out there who sacrificed their career to be at home. I get that too. But these days, like now, modern times, everybody's working. Everybody's working. I don't know a true traditional conservative situation where mom's never worked. She has no education. She's basically barefoot and pregnant at the house taking care of business. I don't know a single one. I know women who've left their careers because they wanted to go home and take care of the child. And even them, they're working. They done started a business or something from home. So now when it's over, it's over. We got to look at that. But I understand why women are slow, right, to make any changes. Because even the women who aren't in situations, who are doing good, they're independent or whatever, they even realize like, well, that system is wrong. But if I change the system, that could hurt me down the road. Because I am looking for a guy. If I find my dreamy dude, I find my 1% dude who's down for it, I get with him, it doesn't work out, I'm going to get paid on the back end. I'm working with a net. Why would I take the net down? So I get it. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I get it. But something needs to happen. So that's it. That's it. That's the end of our special Saturday episode. We won't be doing too many of these, I don't think. Or maybe we will. I don't know. We're just gonna, again, I was gonna make that a short, but I knew I was gonna go long-winded. So like, let me just go ahead and make this an episode. I'll be back Monday for sure. And we'll probably be talking about that traditional conservative thing. Shoe on Head did a episode. She was talking about the Twitch thoughts. I'm going to talk about that too. Again, we got these empowered, bold women who are topless on Twitch, which is a platform for children, for kids, gamers. And they're just letting them things run. You know what I'm saying? There's one woman on there who was actually getting smashed. You couldn't see it, but you could see her and her faces and her oohs and ahs and her moans. You couldn't see the dude, but you can, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was a cutoff right there. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, I think we're going to talk about some stuff next week, man. We're going to talk about that thing I saw on Rising. We're going to talk about the Twitch stuff. We're going to talk about the whole Boss Babe thing. Is that Boss Babe era coming to an end? I wonder. Is it just going to change? I wonder. But the Tez in the building was good, fam. Yeah, we're wrapping up right now, man. Glad you could stop by. Yeah, that's that, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I will be back Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. Yo, thank y'all for popping in on my emergency Saturday show. And for those who just now getting in, please catch me on TN Replay. Leave your comments below. I really want to hear what you got to say about this. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.